Hello, can you guys hear me? How is everyone?
Doing good, Mike. How you doing?
Not too bad.
Nice.
Where are you from in the world?
I'm from the New York area, but I live in Austin, Texas. I've been here about 11 years.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. What do you like better, Austin or New York?
Austin, hands down.
Yeah? Is it,
Hands
is it just a weather thing or is it
It's
atmosphere too?
weather, it's like people, and it's space, and it's cost. So it's all those things. Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of, it's funny. I joke with all my buddies. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to move to New York one day. Like, it'll be fun. But I live in California. I don't think
Yeah.
I'm built for the cold, man. Like,
Yeah. No,
this is the warmest thing I have.
oh, yeah. Forget it. Man.
There's no way.
Where are you in California? San Diego?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay. Well, nice. Cool.
Cool. So we'll let a couple more people trickle in here and then we'll get started.
Hey, Mike. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Rosenthal. Good to
Hey,
see you
Bob, how
all.
are you?
I'm totally rocking. Thanks.
There you go. Fabulous Monday.
Yeah, and it's pretty grim here in suburban Detroit. California dreaming weather. All those leaves are brown, snow, that kind of shit.
I hear you. Awesome. So I think we have enough people to sort of get going. Does anyone have anything that they want me to look at right off the bat, or is there any sort of topic that you guys would like to discuss before we get started?
Yeah, I've got like a checkout page, kind of like half a sales page. I'd like to get some fresh eyes on. I'll pop the link in the chat for everybody to take a look at.
Cool. Yeah. I think while you're getting that link ready, I think Amber actually sent in a doc. So I think we'll go Amber first, then Bob will go you right after. Is that cool?
Before you jump in, is there any way you could do just kind of an overview about getting clients and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think I'd love to sort of give my 2 cents on the topic. I think that question is much better suited for Brian, who runs the freelancing calls on Wednesday.
Okay.
I can give you my sort of like quick tidbit on it.
Yeah.
My biggest thing about clients, and it's actually been really tough for everyone, I think, in 2020, is I always got my clients from being in person. Like every deal I made was made at an event, half drunk at some bar. But I'm being serious, right? Like I've just always been such a people person that it's been easy for me to just walk up to people and be like, hey, like blah blah blah, at some of these ClickBank events, at some of these, TNC was always a big one. And that's actually the only reason why I'm back on social media, is because I was like, well, I can't go to in-person meetings anymore. I guess I have to stay relevant somehow, right? So I understand 2020 has been tough for that. The other ways you can sort of do it is what you're doing now, right? Which is staying in some of these groups, staying active, picking up jobs on some of the job boards, and all that stuff. So I do think Brian would be he'll give you a much more in-depth answer.
Nice.
But I appreciate you asking that, because I think, I want to cultivate sort of a call where we just like throw stuff out and we can all help each other. You know what I mean? So don't think that you can't ask some of us certain questions because they would be better for someone else or not.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Let me pull up. Let me share my screen here. Cool. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
I can see it, though it may be better for some people if there's a way to enlarge the text.
Yeah. How's that?
Beautiful.
Cool. How are you, Amber?
I'm good. Nice to meet you, Mike.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, delighted to be here. So this is a 40 email welcome series that I've been banging away on. This is number 18 and 19. So readers have been through a 2.5-week journey at this point already. It is for an online Spanish immersion learning opportunity. We've really focused a lot on the immersion piece, a lot of trust building at this point. The whole goal is to get people to reply with dates and times that they are available for a free trial lesson that they applied for. And for whatever reason, 2.5 weeks in, they still haven't done it. So I'm in the section where I'm doing 4 emails that kind of go together that I'm referring to as the You Can campaign. And these first 2 are the more nice trust building ones, and the next 2 will be more sales focused.
Sure. And what have they seen before this in the first sort of 18, 19 emails? Have they been pitched to hop on the call or to schedule a time?
Yeah, every single email at some point, normally near the end, says, remember, all you have to do is reply to this email and give us your dates and times and we'll set it up.
Awesome. And do you guys have any data moving forward? 18 days is actually a lot for someone to continually say no to. So I almost wonder, and I don't want to throw a wrench into this, and I hope this sort of, the data sort of shows some of this, is I would just swap to a different offer.
There is no other offer.
Okay, fair
This is
enough.
all they
So
do.
fair enough. Okay, no problem. Yeah, let me go ahead and sort of read through it. Are there any sort of stumbling blocks, any sections that you want me to look at in depth, or just kind of overview?
It's mostly overview. I'm pretty new to copy. I started with Copy Accelerator 6 months ago, and I had never written a drop of copy in my life until then. I'm really liking learning about email. So it's just getting that flow that feels conversational, that gets to the point, that is something somebody would keep reading.
Cool. Yeah, this is great. This flows really well. The one thing I'll say is and maybe I didn't sort of catch it, but there aren't a lot of direct claims here. So there is a lot of language about, I did this, I did that, I did this, it's been great, I didn't know. So maybe switching to some of this you language would be really helpful, and then giving them a really strong call to action. Like just reply with dates and times, but I'd need to basically be walked through why I even need to do it in the first place. Does that make sense?
Yes and no. The why has been told to them in many different ways for 2.5 weeks. So I feel like I've had some feedback on different emails throughout the sequence, and I keep hearing that, but I feel like without having the context of reading the 17 emails before this, how to integrate that feedback.
I think you just basically, I would just copy and paste it at this point. The same way you had your call to actions, I would just use the same thing. Because the thing is, it's going to be a really tough sell to be like, hey, you said no to this 18 times, but the 19th is going to be the one that gets you. You know what I mean? So you're sort of stuck in this place of this client, and I'm assuming this is a client and not your offer.
Correct.
If they only have one offer, there's only so much you can do here. You know, you've said it a million, it sounds like you've said it a million different ways. Hey, come book this call. Why would you not? Don't be a dummy.
Mhm.
And you're running into this sort of stumbling block, which is just like, I can only say this so many ways and only tell you so many times before like you're going to start to get annoyed.
Right.
And you just can't really control that. So I think that feedback is spot on. And I would just continue to hammer home benefit after benefit after benefit. Try to sort of phrase it in a different way, but don't be afraid to continue selling.
Mhm.
You're in a really tough
I'm
position.
curious, I'm sitting with that last sentence you said, and I'm curious why you think this feels like I'm scared to sell, because I'm not. And so I'm wondering.
I
what
didn't say
the
you're
language-
scared to sell. I just think we could really hammer home to get started. Just reply with the days and times you're available to experience learning Spanish through total online immersion. You'll need to flesh this out a little bit so that you can XYZ. I also wonder if, and this is tough too because I haven't seen the rest of the previous
Right.
emails.
Right.
I also wonder if some of this language that's just like, and don't worry, this isn't some hard sell, we're just going to chat type language would be pretty helpful here. Because the second I get asked to hop on a call, my mind immediately goes to, they're going to pull out all the stops. They're going to be sleazy salesmen. So maybe taking away some of that fear,
Mm-hmm.
right? Benefit, benefit, benefit. And just so you know, don't worry, we're not going to hammer home all the salesman tactics on the call. It's just a 15-minute chat to get to know each other, see if it's a good fit.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm just going to glance at this too. Yeah, otherwise it's great. You know, it's a tough one because you have to balance this, like, it's day 18, let me still give you content and make you feel like we're building a relationship, but also sign up for the call, dude. What are you doing?
Right.
So
And
I think you're
know
doing a
that
really good job.
We know that our avatar is, we have two major avatars. One is a professional who learning Spanish would help their career. And we know that for them, scheduling is the hardest part. So it's it is maybe just hammering them over and over again, saying, just do it. You can control this. We'll figure it out schedule wise. And then the other are people that either travel to a Spanish speaking country often, or maybe even looking to be an expat and live permanently. And so there's a little bit of, where does this go on their priority list to learn Spanish?
Yeah, and I wonder if there's a way to segment those two people out based on like tagging them based on what they've clicked and what they haven't, so you can speak to them a little bit differently. And I also,
Definitely.
I wonder if there's a way, do they always have to reply? Is there a link that they can click right away?
So both of what you said, I have suggested, and I've been told they are a couple months out to be able to do that because of some other things.
A couple months to create a link?
Because of other things they're working on, yes.
Fair enough. So when that happens, I would suggest also mailing some of the people who clicked, right? So like, hey, and this could be super quick, 75 words max.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we saw you clicked on this link, but like you didn't sign up. Maybe life got in the way. Maybe you got a crazy phone call. Maybe you needed to go to the restroom. Whatever the case is, the link is still here and we're waiting for you. And then you can say something like, we reserved a spot for you. All you have to do here is claim it before the next person in line takes it. Click here. So I would sprinkle some of that stuff too.
Definitely.
Awesome. Otherwise, good work.
Cool. Thank you.
Of course. All right, let's rock. So, Bob, walk me through sort of what they see before this.
Yeah, Mike, everybody, they'll see a video, probably a video ad I've got it's a 21-day video email coaching program. Basically, you get 21 days of me first thing in the morning. I give you a little bit of entertainment, and we check in. It's an intermittent fasting program designed for for men primarily. People that want to lose, people that want to learn what intermittent fasting is, basically. So you'll get 21 coaching videos. You'll get you'll get the video every morning. It'll also be in a membership area. And the videos are basically, it's daily accountability. You check in with me. We both fill out a spreadsheet or a written diary of like, hey, I stopped eating yesterday at 6 o'clock. I'll resume eating today at noon. So I have 17 hours that I didn't eat. That type of thing. Of course, I've tested it with about 100 people so far, and maybe 60, 70 of them paid. And so, it's a decent program. I've charged anywhere from free for the course to $49. And so I'm just going to shoot it out. I've got a few people who are going to mail for me. I'll do some Facebook ads and take it from there.
Cool. No, that's awesome. So the first thing that sort of jumps out at me isn't even a copy thing. It's a little bit tough to sort of take all of it in because there are 2 columns. So I just wrote, I don't know if you guys can see this. This is really poor. I don't know if it swaps the letters or not, but I would actually test a design that's similar to this, where you just have a headline. Because right now, and this is so tough. Hold on. right now, if you see where I'm highlighting, these 2 actually compete for my attention, these 2 headlines. And I don't know which one to look at. So I wonder if it's easier to, one, take one of these benefits, throw it in the headline, and then just have the rest right here.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing here, this is a page that I built myself in Lead Pages. This is primarily a mobile page where it would be 1 column all the way down.
Gotcha.
That's a great point, that you're making here. And so, yeah, that reminds me to make a desktop page 1 column.
Yeah, because and another thing you can test is sort of, if you look at any of sort of Agora's order forms, they're actually quite long. They're actually about 2,000 words long. But we've actually tested that has beaten a short order form every single time. And that's basically treating the order form the same way you would in upsell, right? So that'll be like, if you have some copy, like, hey, congrats, you're only 1 click away from the 21-day Get Lean Challenge. And by clicking through this page, you've done a great thing, blah, 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 blah. Below, you'll find an order form. You'll fill out all your stuff. You'll really walk them through it, and then just copy and paste all the benefits from the sales page just to remind them. And you can still have the order form on the side. So the entire time that scrolls with them. So the entire time when they're ready, they're ready.
Got it. Okay.
That's another thing to test.
I'll take a look. So anybody, and I open to everybody, anything on the bullets or the copy seem believable? Be merciless, guys.
I think it's fine. I don't think you're at a place where if you only have 100 clicks, it's tough to really know whether something's working or not. And you said, 70, that's a 70% conversion rate. I wouldn't even touch anything if it was actually converting at 70%, right?
No, it's not converting at 70%. I put about 100 people through the coaching program.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'd be really curious.
Yeah, and so so it's this is not something I normally do. Coach. I'm not a fitness coach. It's just something that I use myself, and so I've taught several friends how to do it, and I made a 21-day coaching program. So out of 100 people that have gone through the program, I've gotten pretty good results, and I've sold it to about 50 people, and with no refunds.
Cool. So yeah, put some testimonials throughout here too. Don't be afraid for that. In 3 short weeks.
this is really my first offer in maybe 10 years. You know, I've been working mostly client work and lead generation.
Yeah, this is fine. Otherwise, the one thing I think I would play around with is actually stacking these bullets as they're in succession. So it's like by day 7, you'll get leaner and feel recharged without blah, blah, blah. By day 14, you would have already have mastered this blah, blah, blah. And by day 21, watch out world,
Ooh, excellent. Good. Thank you. Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
I
And
like
then that
a
way it
lot.
sort of flows quite well. And other than that, just like the
Sequential,
classic, you know,
chronological.
the
You know, like-
even if without type stuff, right? You'll master the one to banish ugly fat forever, and it has nothing to do with popping pills, eating cardboard all day, blah blah blah.
Yeah, so hearkening back to the old direct response selling the book. So instead of saying like on page 27, you'll find this by day, 19.
Exactly, and you
Yeah.
can even have an actual sales page. I'm a big fan of like when you actually build out some of these explanations for some of the coaching videos. In video 1, you'll find blah blah blah. You'll find that at the 2-minute mark. Stop right there, and you'll already be set. But if you keep going, you'll learn blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But in that, yeah, this is great. I would play around with design first and then play around with the actual copy.
Excellent. Great.
Awesome.
Fantastic feedback. Thank you.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah.
All right. Who is next? Greg.
Hey Mike, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
So walk me through what the offer is, the traffic source, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so the traffic source is native ads, and the offer is a 47 product that shows them how to flip houses without having a good credit score or without loans. And it reveals how to, because this is all about vacant houses, so it reveals how to find the houses and blah, blah, blah. And after this low ticket product, they upsell to a high ticket coaching where they basically walk them through every step and help them, to complete the deals. And once they join this kind of high ticket product, these guys actually fund their deals, these people behind this offer. So that's how they can get those houses without being able to get a loan, basically, or having cash.
And is this currently running now? Do we have any data behind it?
Not really. They told me it was supposed to run last Friday. So hopefully this week we will get some more data. Like curious about your thoughts behind it.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Yeah. So in general, the
This
first
is
thing sort of.
targeted to. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
It's targeted to kind of newbies, people who either want to start investing in real estate or those who are doing something but without any amazing results.
Gotcha.
And it's
So
focused on flipping houses.
the main thing that sort of jumps out at me is this headline is actually something that I would have seen 30 years ago. Right? There's
Okay.
nothing. If you think about sort of like the market sophistication, right, and the different steps, there's nothing in here that's quote unquote new to me as a reader. So, and again, I wouldn't change anything until you get data back, because I could be wrong, but I would try to add something in here, whether it be a new mechanism, right, whether it be something about the investor, right? The thing that pops up for me, and I wouldn't use this and I'm being facetious, but just to sort of drive home the point, John Carlton used to have this thing about this one-legged golfer swinging, right? So that one-leggedness, I don't even know if that's a word, but that's what made it new and fun and interesting, right? So I wonder,
Mm.
If there's something you can add to investor, and it wouldn't be anything about his body, but the point stands is what can we add here to make it new, right? And we have actually 3 different variables to play around with. We can play around with the investor, we can play around with the actual flipping of houses, and we can play around with the not having something.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Right. So those are 3 different variables that you can actually play with and add things to, remove, put them in a different sort of dimensionalization, whatever you want to do. But that's the main thing that just sort of hits me right away.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
And those all, if you do decide to play around with those 3 variables, I would, this is dependent on the amount of testing capability you guys have, is I wouldn't try to change all 3 right away. I would change one, test it, change the second one, test it, change the third one, test it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Let me read through this. I mean, this is cool too. It's like a father-son duo.
Yeah, and I actually have 2 other headlines that I send them to test, and one of them mentions how ordinary father and son make easy 16K flipping houses, something like that.
See, that's much more interesting to me than this, right?
Okay. Yeah.
See, this is cool now. You're talking about safe loopholes. I need to read this. I need to see this in the headline. This is where the stuff gets good, where you really get to the meat and potatoes of it. So I would basically find a way to dimensionalize safe loophole in the property market, and then literally put it up here. Investor with 27 years of real reveals how to flip houses using whatever XYZ method that works, even if you have to. And I'm sure, I'm not positive you can say you can't, whatever you want, but you know, even if you don't have great credit score, you have 0 cash, and you can't even spell the word real estate.
Sounds good.
Does that help?
Yes, a lot. That's good stuff.
Sweet. I mean, this stuff's great too, right? Why wait until page 3 to give it to me?
Yeah,
so
that's
I'd even
true.
test one that's like, you know, what we just said about the headline, and then be like, you know, using this crazy super duper method, Mike made this, Barry made this, Robert made this. If you're interested to see how much you could potentially make, keep reading.
That's brilliant. That's amazing.
So otherwise, good work, man. This flows really well. It makes sense. I think, you know, this stuff about them not being able to go to Europe, right, back then, underneath is really important. It's actually at the crux of all this stuff. On that, good work.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for your help.
Yeah, of course. Hey, Reginald, how are you?
Hey, Mike, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for last time, by the way.
Yeah, no worries, man. Hopefully it was helpful.
That was definitely helpful. Thanks once again.
Yeah, of
So
course.
with this one, this is for the law of attraction. Yep. This is for the law of attraction market. It's going to be placed on ClickBank. So traffic is going to be directed from affiliates, which who basically will have like an email list. And with the law of attraction, I think there's not much proof. So the big idea I wanted to go with this is basically brain injury survivors, they happen to unlock some hidden talent. And I wanted to link that to law of attraction because it opens up a part of your mind, which unlocks your creativity, your visualization, your meditation, which also helps you manifest better. So I have the lead and I have the close and I have part of the story. I think what I'm struggling with, I think it's always the same with me, which is the structure of it and just the unique mechanism, problem, and solution. So that's what I wanted you to take a look at.
Sure. So I think it's actually a really cool novel um, idea. I actually,
Yeah.
before I say anything, let me actually read through it. I mean, the first thing is like, why wouldn't you say my brother? Right? If it's your
Why?
mom.
Why would I? Yeah.
Oh, it's about you.
Yeah.
Oh, see, okay, cool, makes sense. See, I'd actually start here.
Yeah. I actually thought about that, but yeah. You're right. Your son could be brain dead.
Where's the? Oh, it's right here. Okay. So the brain injury affects my anterior lobe.
Intensification really means like their core desires. Like,
So I'm a little bit confused because I think this is sort of the right structure. I just wonder if we can button this up a little bit better because right now, so the brain injury affected his anterior lobe, right?
yeah.
You have to be very clear about how they got from here to here. So what does my brain injury have to do with this?
Okay. All right. Think in my head, it was more so the brain injury opens up the anterior lobe, which is responsible for, our intuitive stuff like creativity, meditation, visualization. And it's also been shown that people who meditate, who visualize, were more likely to manifest. I don't know how I can more likely to manifest. I don't have stats on that, but people who are like that have the
Whatever, people report.
no, I have to
Many
find
folks rave.
it. I definitely have to do research on it, but that's where this is the I don't know the angle I'm trying to take. The direction I'm trying to take.
Excuse me.
That's all good, man.
Okay, I'm back. So, so walk me through this brain injury then, while I finish my coughing attack.
Catch your breath, man. Catch your breath. So it's actually like rare cases show that people do have brain injuries. The anterior lobe opens, and once they do, there's been cases upon cases that show that they unlock this creative powers. Like some intuitively know how to like paint. They're good with music. Some also know how to like mathematically like compute things in a brain, and it's because of this part of their brain And then what I want to do, I haven't found studies on it, but I'm pretty sure there is. What I want to do is I want to find studies that link the anterior lobe to also the part of your brain as the part of the brain that's responsible for meditation, creativity, visualization.
Got it. Okay. So the main thing then here is what's confusing me is when I read this, I think, okay, cool. So all I have to do is injure my brain to manifest better.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that sort of is a big stumbling block for me as a reader is I need a very clear, like, this is what's happening and then this is the solution. And if the solution, it's really tough to basically tell them, you know, I broke my brain and now I have a superpower, but you don't have to break your brain to do it too. Do you understand how that proof doesn't sort of support that mechanism?
Yeah, that actually came to mind. That's why I think I did the unique mechanism solution, which is you don't have to go through a brain injury like I did. What you simply need to do is you need to listen to a Tibetan singing bowl. And once you do, you'll be able to open up your interior loop, being therefore helping you to manifest the things that you want to. That's where I was going with it.
I think that's fine. I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
It still jumps out at me of just like, it's a really tough sell, no? Of just like, I broke X, the Y happened, but you don't have to break yours. All you have to do is do this. Because my mind goes, do the Tibetan things break my brain the same way an injury would?
Okay.
Like it's tough for me to think about something breaking, something happening, and then a secondary solution that has nothing to do with something breaking. Am I making any sense? I feel like as I'm even saying it, it's not making sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. It's like I broke my brain and I stumbled upon this, but you don't have to break your brain to stumble upon this.
Yeah, so I think if you decide to go this route, you have to do that. You have to be incredibly clear about, you know, see my brain injury, this is what happened, X, Y, Z. And what was really interesting is, and is he the sort of the person who figures all this out in the story?
Yeah, I wanted to, I didn't know whether to include like a, what do you call it? A credibility partner, a credibility source, or should I just make him the one who stumbles upon everything? If in fact he's the one that opens up his brain, it adds on to it, to his credibility. That's what I was thinking.
So you can basically say like, hey, you know, like, oopsie, I broke my brain, but now it's all fixed. And what was really weird is as I was sort of going through my day, I realized that all these cool things started happening to me. So I did a little bit of research and it turns out that people who mess up their brain, all these side effects happen that are actually really positive in addition to all the bad stuff. So it got me thinking, is there any way to still get all the positive stuff without breaking your brain? And that's when I stumbled upon study XYZ that revealed blah, blah, blah.
Without breaking your brain. Yeah, sorry, I'm writing all this stuff down.
No, that's okay. And this is recorded, I think.
Yep. Yeah, I know
it should be. Okay.
Yeah, recording comes like 2 days later or 3 days.
I have a habit of accidentally forgetting to record stuff. So I really hope this is recorded right now.
Yeah, I think it is. It says recording at the.
Okay, good.
Get good effects without breaking your brain. Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that see how that's a much tighter argument? It just sort of explains every single step, because what we have here now makes me think that I have to fall down a flight of stairs to meditate better.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Let me just clarify so I have it when I'm writing it. So basically, I went through a brain injury, and because of that, when I was going through my day, a lot of cool stuff kept happening to me. But so it led me to this to actually try to find out why all this cool stuff was happening to me, and I discovered that you can have all this cool stuff happen to you without having your brain injury.
No, so that's step 2, right? That's step 3. Step 2 is like, you know, I couldn't explain why all of these great benefits, right? All this stuff was happening to me. It made no sense. Like, I just broke my brain. How could it work better now? And that's when I figured out that the place that I sort of jumbled around is actually responsible for so-and-so. So it got me thinking, is there any way that I could still turn on all these cool things without having to break my brain again, or while teaching other people to do the same and they don't have to do that? And that's when I figured out that there is a way. And it's actually been around for thousands of years.
Okay.
And then that sort of fixes this here. So the fine way he stumbles upon it, you actually need it in the story right here. It's a much stronger argument to say, instead of saying, I found this thing and here's what it does, it's a much stronger argument to be like, here's what this cool thing does and it's called this. Because you force them to read everything before you get to the cool thing.
What is cool and does and call this? Okay. Well, he's still disappointed over there. Okay. I think I got it. You always jump on my brain, man.
Sorry, man. Well, dude, you gotta manifest it, man. You can't.
Yeah, I definitely do.
No, yeah, I think you're running into something that a lot of copywriters run into, which is like, I have this great offer, but there's not a lot of actual proof that the reader and myself can sink our teeth into. So we have to find creative ways to still make things sound believable without saying, scientists at XYZ University found this cool thing. Right? You're not selling turmeric. There aren't 3,000 different studies for you to choose from.
No problem. Okay. Sorry, I don't want to take up your time. I was just like,
no, dude, we're all hanging out, man. I also think that other people are gaining something from this too. I hope, at least.
Okay. So I broke my brain. All this cool stuff was happening, and then I just I wanted to figure out a way where I can do all this cool stuff without breaking my brain. I actually found that there was something that can do that, and it does this, this, and this, and it's called that, and it can help you do all the cool stuff that I'm now doing.
Yeah, without breaking your brain.
Breaking your brain, yeah.
And that's a really tongue-in-cheek way to say it, right? But that's the basic structure.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah, that definitely helped. Also, I always struggle with my clothes. I don't know. I did the clothes, but I don't know how.
Where is the clothes? Obviously at the bottom. But
yeah. It's
right here.
I think the close starts from like, what do you call it? When I introduce the product, if you scroll up, you see, and I tell them what they get. That's the bonuses. Life Magic. Yeah, it starts here.
Oh, from like the product intro? Yeah.
Yeah. So I do a lot.
Yeah, the main thing is you basically, whatever mechanism you just explained to me, you just spent, 20 pages walking me through, you need to basically say, introducing manifestation rhythm, the only product on the market that works by insert mechanism you just spent all this time convincing me of.
Okay.
And then from there, yeah, you do all the right things, right? It does all this cool stuff. OMG, here's what's inside. Best of all, you don't have to do any of this dumb stuff. You don't believe me? Look at what all these people are saying. Here's what you're getting today. I would not put the buy now button.
Okay.
This high up, I would build this out and be like, here's all the cool stuff you're getting. Here's all these cool bonuses. here's how much it costs, and then you basically say like, it gets better because it's money back guarantee. Don't worry about it. Buy now. So I'm a big fan of putting the buy button after you've really made them want it.
Okay. Gets better guarantee. All righty.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah,
And the
your
lead
recap-
was good.
The lead was fine. I don't think the lead is a problem, right? I shouldn't say problem. The thing you should focus on. I think the thing you should focus on is getting very, very clear on the mechanism and then move from there.
Okay, and the story is also good.
Yeah, the story's fine. I would just run with this first.
Okay, run with that first. Cool. Got it.
Sheila, we just checked the scans and it seems as though your son is going to be brain dead for the rest of his life.
Can you repeat that again?
I just said Sheila. We looked at the scans and I'm sorry to say. Huh?
I didn't know who you were talking to. I thought you were talking to somebody else.
No. But basically, you want to start. There's a sales page called Diabetes Destroyer that I'll try to find for you guys and send to you. And there's like, the first line is literally, it's a diabetes thing. And when people suffer from diabetes, one of the biggest things they get is edema of the feet and of their limbs, right? And what happens is it cuts off blood supply. And then in some of the more severe cases, you actually have to amputate. And I think the first line is like, we need to cut off his legs today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you could really really go a little bit deeper with some of this. Does that help?
No, that helps a lot. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, of course. Daryl, how are you, man?
Hey man, just playing guitar while I'm watching you guys.
Go.
How are you?
I'm well. What time is it?
It is 10 to 9, so I will be going to bed soon.
Yeah, all right. You're a trooper, man.
I'll put 4 tomorrow, so we'll see. So this is a page for Ryan that I did a while ago that it converts from Facebook at about 4.5%. But these last month or so, I think it's kind of died. So it was doing okay-ish, I guess. But it's kind of died. I'm not sure what the reason is why. I don't know if he's had traffic issues. I haven't actually had a conversation with him about this. But I wanted to get your eye on it and see what your thoughts are looking at as a page to improve. My thoughts are, I've tried to beat this headline and lead so many times, it's annoying me and I never do. So it's still the same one that I wrote at the beginning. It drives me insane. And then I also think maybe the offer isn't that strong. So I'd be interested for you to look at the offer section too. And I'm amazed that we never got that still gets.
Yeah, I'm amazed that this still runs on Facebook. I mean, the first thing I'll say is, I'll scroll down to the offer is like, how do we know that it's the sales page that's not pulling its weight? Is it possible that some of the ad creatives are fatiguing?
That's very possible. And I just asked him for the ad creatives too. Yes, Ariba, this has been running on Facebook, and I've been told by multiple people like, oh my God,
this should not run on Facebook.
But never had an issue. So
and I think, from what 4% on Facebook on cold traffic is actually really good.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'd necessarily mess around at all with this.
Okay.
I would probably, and 4%, right, is, you have to take that with a grain of salt, because like 4% of what, right? 100 clicks or 10,000 clicks.
Yeah.
So I'll look at the offer, but I would actually start, dude, if you said it's 4%, if I wrote something and they said it was converting at 4%, I'm not touching it.
Okay, so you'd go look at it, because I never wrote the Facebook ads. I think he's done the Facebook ads by taking emails that I wrote and
which is awesome.
The creatives, but I don't know what he's actually running on them. And I know I looked and I tried to look on Facebook Library, and I know he's not running anything right now, which makes me think that they kind of died. So.
Yeah. So that's what I would look at first. And actually, dude, if someone's converting at 4%, the first thing I would do is raise the price, because that tells me that people are super rabid they really want this stuff, I would just bump up the price until you get to around that 2% mark.
And focus on the upsells to try and increase AOV, because I don't think he was particularly profitable with it, but it was growing the list. But
yeah, I would focus on that too. It's tough, right? And this is one of these things where when we ask questions sort of in a vacuum, it's tough to sort of get the lay of the land. You know what I mean?
okay, so it's the Facebook ads, then that makes sense.
I mean, I'm not sure if it is. That's just if that's the first place I would ask, like, hey, before we do the big stuff, is there something smaller that we can just play around with?
Okay, well that makes sense as a question anyway. I'd still appreciate you taking a look at it because
Of course, yeah.
So
it's just a messaging system, like a copy and paste texts.
No, so it's not. This is actually a course. So it's weird. So what it is, I've kind of positioned it as like it's a PDF, and then the course is the bonuses. So we're selling one thing, and then you have like plus all these things. But what it really is this whole 6-week program. But we focused on the one document on it, which is kind of the way that he wanted to go.
Got it. So this is very like Agora-esque. Like I'm gonna write 3,000 words about this tiny thing.
Agora, yes.
And then just be like, well, actually, I'm gonna give you all this too.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly it. So I think he worked at Agora for a bit, so he's really wanted that exact thing done. So.
So the main thing that jumps out at me is actually twofold. One, I think I'm a big fan of like working on product names, because I think product names are actually very, very important, and a lot of people don't put as much time into it. So I think me reading something like the S2C messaging system, it doesn't really tell me anything. So I wonder if there's a way to call it something with the benefit inside of it.
Okay.
I also wonder if there's, let me actually scroll all the way up here.
Do we take a play on the automatic attraction machine? I know it's like a Dan Kennedy ripoff, but
whatever. Everyone rips off Dan Kennedy. He's the OG, dude.
The OG. Okay. Do you think that's an idea that could work? Take that as like the automatic Tinder machine?
Yeah, I mean, automatic attraction machine is already light years, in my opinion, stronger than S2C messaging system. Right? You can even call it, the automatic attraction machine, the only messaging system you'll ever need using my S2C method or whatever it is.
Nice.
You'll have to flesh out the S2C. See, I'm even stumbling just saying it, right?
Yeah.
But let me read through the lead as well. So this is great, right? The one thing I like to do in stories, which I think you'd benefit from, is actually roping in the reader a little bit more, or reorienting. So the easiest way to do that is to be like, the problem is I didn't know yet, and I would actually make the same mistake several times. Okay. And then you basically say something like, and I'm willing to bet that since you're reading this page, you are too. Today we'll fix that. Then you go right back into the story.
Okay.
Yeah, so some of this stuff here. But I wonder if we can have it a little bit higher here. Even something like, I met Kylie on Tinder, smoking hot, from her Instagram page. See, most of the girls who swipe right at me on Tinder weren't that great. And you can even say, like, you know how it goes. Most of the girls who swipe right at me on Tinder weren't that great.
Okay, so it's a bit more conversational.
Mm-hmm. And I think just using the word you, and again, this is tough because I don't want to tell you to do something that Facebook doesn't allow, but at the same time, all of this Facebook doesn't allow. So just run with it,
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and this is great too, like the timeliness of it.
Mm-hmm.
Case studies for case studies. Yeah, other than that, this is great. I think the main thing with this is just getting really clear on the benefits and what this actually does. And this is great. And you'll basically want to just harp on this the entire time. Just keep coming back to that same benefit.
Okay. And then try and put it in the name of the product. Do you feel like it's unclear what they're buying when we get down to the bottom? Because I mean, the fact that you had to ask is like, I don't know.
Well, I was a little bit thrown out. And keep in mind, I glanced at this for like 5 minutes. So it's tough for me to have the same viewpoint as a reader. So is this the big thing, or is this just one piece?
I honestly think this whole bit is confusing, and I guess maybe because I, as the writer, don't fully get it as why you would sell it this way. Basically,
You froze there. Am I the only one who? Okay, he froze. Man. All right, we'll give him a couple minutes. Hopefully, he can hop back on. All right, we'll move on, and then we'll hop back. Jazz, how are you, man? Long time no talk.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, Mike?
How's it going?
Doing great, man. It's really good to talk to you again, dude.
Yeah, dude, I haven't talked to you in like 3 years. What's going on? We'll catch up some other time, but
all right.
Walk me through.
Yeah, so this is gonna go. This is gonna go out to affiliates. It's just one short email, but that's gonna go out to affiliates. That's gonna be the framework that they can basically send to their list.
And what's the offer?
It's a constipation supplement.
Nice.
Yeah.
And do we know if the sales page is already cranking away pretty well?
Yeah, the sales order is converting at like 3% on Facebook.
Cool. So I would just be a little more clear as like what was said.
Okay.
I understand what you're trying to do here, right? Is like, this is the classic, like, she ate this. Yeah. Click here now. I don't know if that applies the same way with a quote, because I don't know if this is enough of a benefit to me that I would actually care. So I would actually either say the quote or don't say the quote and just say like, dear friend, her 4-year-old daughter shattered whatever, or whatever, like broke her heart in front of everyone at Thanksgiving dinner. But it was a blessing in disguise because it sent her on a relentless pursuit to figure it out, to get rid of her poop belly once and for all, which led to a doctor's miracle, now validated by blah, blah, blah. That changed everything. And then the only other thing I play around with is I don't like having quotes around things in one sentence right after the other, because I don't know what the mechanism is. Like, I don't even know if I would say poop belly. You can literally say it was a blessing in disguise. You see, she had been struggling with constipation for decades now, and it made her look a little bit lumpy. But those 7 innocent words said by her daughter led her to uncover this miracle cleanse that changed everything.
Got it.
Click here to read the entire story.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's not really a swipe too. That's just fodder.
Does that make sense why I'm saying that?
Yeah, that makes sense, man. Like any feedback you got makes sense. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, man. It's just mainly, I think this is great. You have the bones here. It's just getting very, very clear, and really walking them through step by step.
Okay. Cool. I'll do that immediately. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Do we want to go over any of the other like swipe ideas you had, or you want to
yeah, let's go over those ideas. So my next favorite idea was that first one, like from Santa Valley to New York Kelly, and then something to make them click to the sale. It's just going to a straight like TSL. That's the funnel.
Yeah, dude, I would even go from, I would just be, because this is trying to be a little bit clever, right? Which is fine. I think it has its time and place. I don't know if that's something I would run with this. If this really is a cool scientific like breakthrough, I would literally say that, right? Scientific breakthrough uncovers blah, 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 blah. Or what is it made out of?
So yeah, that's a real picture of it on the spoon. It's not like some random picture on the internet. You put it in water and it just expands 50 times. It's like it can hold 50 times its weight in water. So the idea is that it's really good at bringing water into your large intestines because it's so absorbent.
What is it?
It's called glucomannan.
Is glucomannan found in any other foods?
Yeah, it's found in Chinese noodles. Dr. Oz talks about it. If anything, it's I think the most accurate way to describe it is it's more of a like it's an untalked about thing. Like people treat it as because it expands in your stomach. A lot of people, it was introduced as a what's it called, an appetite suppressant, but in China they also use it for constipation. Nobody in America is really using it for that purpose. So that's the most accurate way to describe it.
Cool. Yeah. So I mean that's another way to lead into this stuff, right? When you write swipes, and this is a little bit different because you're writing for affiliates and you want something that's proven, but just as a general sort of tangent, you want to go as wide as you can and try as many wacky ideas. And you just said a ton of cool ideas, right? Little known Chinese secret. You talked about Dr. Oz, Chinese noodles. I mean, if you can find it, it's in like spinach or something in trace amounts. You could even start there. Subject line will literally just be spinach, which we know does really well. Just these one word subject lines in the health market, and then be like, new breakthrough found in so-and-so. It's actually found in spinach, but you'd have to eat 7 pounds of spinach every single day to get its benefits, but now you don't. Click here. Right? So you can really get wild and try all these new ideas out. Like you don't always have to go this like only benefit route.
Yeah.
Which is a good sort of, but you can sort of attack it from different little angles. Looks like I'm dancing, but.
Got it. Okay. You know what? Then I'm just gonna make a document with like 20 ideas and just find out what the top 3 or 5 are. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, just get wild. Because if you're just writing super clicky, like, OMG, new breakthrough, click here to see it now in action, right? Like that's how all these health swipes work either way. I would just throw as much shit as you have against the wall.
Okay. All right. That's what I'll do then.
Cool.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man, of course. Daryl, you're back.
Hey, man. My Zoom just quit on me halfway through.
Sorry, man. Man, what was I don't remember. Where were we?
We were talking about the offer at the end, and the product is really like it's actually what they actually buy is this thing called the Ultimate Messaging Masterclass. Yeah,
that's infinitely cooler than the S2C message. That's just like so much. Just run with that.
Okay. And then just get rid of this whole stuff about the S2C messaging system and run a test on the 2.
You can still use it. You would basically just condense all of this stuff into a single, because I'm assuming this is like a module of it or like a bonus.
Yeah, it's one module of it. It's like it's basically the get started guide, I guess, would be a good way of doing it. Is like if you go through that PDF and you do the stuff in there, you get all the value of the $67. It's just there's all this other stuff. Like there's 6 weeks of videos. There's, you know, like
I think what you said is great.
Yeah.
Is like introducing, and then what was it called? The ultimate who's he, what's it? This is the last thing you'll need. It's incredible. And then once you go through in module 1, you'll find this. You can still use this as a selling point.
Okay.
And you basically you can say something tongue in cheek if you want to be like, look, I know you probably have a lot on your plate right now, so I'm just going to give you the good stuff right away. You go through the S2C messaging system, boom, boom, boom. You'll have everything you need. It'll basically pay for the course itself. Stop there and I'm convinced you'd be set. But why when I have so many more cool things to give you? Module 2.
Cool. Okay. I think that makes sense. It's always the offer that's bothered me. It's like just confusing, I think. So that's very helpful.
Yeah, I think if while you're writing something and it's confusing to you, chances are it's also going to be confusing to the reader. You know what I mean? So I think your copywriter's sort of intuition is leading you the right way, which is just like, why are we making things a little bit too complicated when we can just do something else? Like the reason why some of the Agora stuff works is, one, they're selling a $3,000 front end subscription.
Yeah.
So they lead with this wacky sort of like discovery or whatever. They spend, 7,000 words basically convincing you of this thing. Then they go, and I'm going to give it to you for free in my PDF if you decide to be a paying subscriber. And by that time, they're in. I don't think it's a necessary treatment for something that's $67.
Yep. I think you're right.
But otherwise, I mean, this is awesome.
Thanks, man. That's really helpful feedback.
Yeah. And again, if it's converting at 4%, forget everything I said and just keep running it.
Well, yeah. The amount of times people tell me about the Facebook thing, I'm like, when are we going to get shut down?
Zuckerberg hasn't found you guys yet.
I guess then we just go find some compliance expert. But I don't know. Yeah, seems to work. So thanks,
Sweet.
man.
Yeah, man. Of course. Let's see here. Who is next? I think that's everyone, right? Is there anyone I'm missing? Oh, Heidi. Where can someone repost the link, please? Sorry, Heidi. There's so many little. Perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
So many links and messages, and it's just tough to kind of keep track.
Yeah,
of.
just to give some backstory, this is my own offer. I launched it a year ago and I did it pretty quickly. So I didn't really spend a bunch of time on the copy. And I just feel like, it's really amateur now looking at it, and could be a lot better. So, but this is the general offer. It's basically a funnel copy audit service. So I take someone's existing funnel copy that maybe was never that great or just didn't convert the way someone wanted it to, and I rewrite it. And then I write like a custom email sequence. So it's sold well for me. Like when I promote it, I'd like to promote it again. Just looking for general feedback, ideas. Anyone on the call, like, I love your ideas too, because you're all copywriters. So
yeah, this is awesome. So this is doing well.
Yeah, I mean, I have not been promoting it lately, but when I launched it, I sold like 5 in the first month, which was great.
Cool.
Yeah, and I've since raised the price a couple times. Yeah, because it's something that a lot of entrepreneurs need.
Yeah, and I mean, this is sort of a very e-commerce-y style page, which I think is great, because I don't know if it necessarily. I would also test a long form thing, but if this is working, I mean, why tweak it too much?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worked on warm traffic, people who already know me, but I don't know that this copy really is persuasive enough by itself. And so I did get that feedback from somebody, Ian Stanley. I was in the unit for a while. He's like, you should write a lot more.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I think Ian's right.
Yeah.
I think you should write a lot more. I think the question that we sort of have to decide right now is like, what parts deserve explaining and what parts don't really matter.
Yeah, because I wanted to also keep it simple, not overwhelm people. So like that's why I broke it down into like it's a 3-step process. This is what we do, and I only need like an hour of your time. But I think I could probably just sell it more and maybe dig into pain points more. So I'm not sure if I should do that with like painting a dire picture of what it's like when you launch an offer and it flops, or talk more about, you know, my background, or I don't know, just open to suggestions because I do want to rewrite it.
Yeah, all of it. I think both of those are a great sort of option. I mean, the biggest thing that's sort of missing here from this page is just who you are and why we should trust you, right?
Yeah.
And of course, we could do small little edits. Like I only take 5 people on each month. I'd probably say I'm only taking 5 people this month, because that makes it sound like you're only taking 5 forever.
Yeah,
It
true.
makes it seem like I can just come back next month, right? So we can do little line edits like that. But I think you're right. I think just making things a little more explanatory, I don't think is a word, but maybe it is. But just explain things a little bit more, right? Like I wonder if it's actually better to just have this. If you're going to lead with the offer right away, why not just have this in the headline? Because right now you don't really tell me how you're going to do it. You just say it's this like dead simple process that takes an hour of my time. Why not just literally say, turn this into a pre-head, and then just be like, I'm going to rewrite your copy for a fraction of what it would cost for you to get it done yourself or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you can literally, if you still want to go with some of these shorter pages, you can literally just start like, hi, my name is Heidi, and people know me as the offer copy remixer.
Yeah. I do really like the name.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Thanks. Yeah, I wasn't, you know, sold on the hook. I had another version of the hook that was like, let's see, which one do I have up there? Are you tired of constantly tweaking? Yeah, just stop wasting money on ad spend or constantly tweaking your offer stack. So just slightly different. But I don't know that that headline by itself calls out what I actually do.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, I think your sort of intuition is leading you in the right way. Is like the headline right now, the main sort of quote unquote liability is that it doesn't give me anything new. These are all claims I've sort of heard before.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I think this is a new sort of nice little modifier to what you have here that I would actually highlight a lot more, because I think it's an important part of the actual offer. And if you're going to lead with your offer right away, why not just have it in the headline?
Yeah. So just say that, like, introducing offer copy remix, and then kind of go into some good explanation of.
Yeah, you don't have to say introducing. I think, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, just go into more explanation of like why people need this and what it can do for them.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of looking at it. I also wonder if there's just an easy way, if you can somehow quantify this 60 minutes of your time. So I wonder if there's a way that you can say, you know, to business owners, if you give me 60 minutes of your time, I guarantee to double your conversions or your money back. Like, yeah, that's a big claim.
Yeah, it is. But
or I bet you I can beat you. I can beat your control in and out with, because the stumbling block for me is like, if I'm a busy business owner, like I don't want to hop on a call for an hour. Like that's why I hire copywriters, so I can just pay them and I don't have to talk to them until they deliver something.
Yeah. I mean, there has to be at least some exchange of information, you know, for me to like get the background on their offer, but I could probably cut that down more, you know, because they already have some copy. It's not writing from scratch. It's not going to take a ton of research. Yeah, I would still do some research, but
I would just go psycho with my benefit and just say something just so crazy. If this is warm traffic and they already know who you are, they're going to be more willing to believe it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and the cool thing is, since I've sold this, you know, a half dozen times, I can write up some case studies maybe show some before and afters.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you could even pull some of these up. I always find it interesting that people put their testimonials last. Like,
Yeah,
if I don't
that's true.
believe anything you're saying, I'm not even going to get to the testimonials.
True. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to try to write something and then, bring it to the Thursday call, get
Cool.
some feedback. But yeah, appreciate that. That's helpful.
Awesome, yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to just even get started, especially when it's your own copy. It's hard to like get a bird's eye view of it.
Yeah, it's really tough. And I think that's the rub of it, right? When you're writing as yourself, it's like infinitely harder than writing about someone else.
Yeah.
From the voice of someone else.
I like Jazz's suggestion too. The last time I did this, seats filled up in X days. Yeah, Daryl, I just fixed the headline, but anyway, I'm going to change this whole thing. But yeah, thanks everybody.
Awesome. Sweet. Does anyone else have anything else for me to look at? Any questions? I got about 15 more minutes here. Any comments, concerns? Maybe you guys don't like my hat. I understand. What does SLO stand for?
Self-liquidating offer.
What is it?
Self-liquidating offer.
Oh, I don't even know what. Because I don't even know what a self-liquidating offer is.
It's just someone who is selling like an ebook or anything for like 37 or 47 bucks to get them into your funnel, and then you upsell them onto any higher price product.
Hmm. Oh, like a tripwire?
Yeah, kind of. It is going to
got
pay
it.
for
Basically, the
ads,
offer pays
yeah.
for the CPA. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know of any, to be completely honest with you. If you give me a little bit more sort of information about what the offer is, I can maybe point you in the right direction. So is it a health offer?
Yeah, it's a health offer.
And what is it? What is it?
It's an ebook in the weight loss niche, and right now it's converting at around 2.5%. So I'm just looking for any offer that's converting at 4 to 5% and see what I could potentially, change in my offer.
Yeah, what's the price right now?
It's 37.
77? Well, I think
37.
Oh, 37.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is really just like a customer acquisition funnel and you want to just get as many people as you can through the door, you might be able to lower the price from 37 to something even cheaper. That should increase the conversion rate, and then you can just make it back out with certain upsells. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I don't know of specific swipes to give you when it comes to stuff like
No
that.
way.
But there are tons of things. If you want to, I can take a look next Monday.
Yeah, for sure. I'll come with the data.
Or you can even post it. Do you have a link now?
I do have a link, but it would be better if I present you the complete picture with the data and everything.
Sure.
So you'd be able to give feedback. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, of course. Sorry, I wish I had a better answer.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Awesome. Sweet. Does anyone else have anything?
I can submit something if you have time.
Yeah.
Okay, let me find. I would love to get a look at what you think about what I can do about the flow of my main business website. Because I think it's a pain. So the goals on this page is basically it's contact forms, and then there's also a click to call button on the left hand side. So they come in, and then I'm trying to drive them to either adults or kids lessons from that main page.
And what does this quote unquote convert at now?
I don't know, because everything's really dodgy on the tracking. So I'm getting all that fixed at the moment. but it hasn't ever been a significant issue because it's made us money. But I would, the page that I can go to, if you want slightly more, probably more interesting to look at than this one at the moment, if you go down slightly and click on the adult lessons page, it's long form sales copy, which is maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, so let me real quick my initial thoughts on this. So I actually think you'd get a lot more traction out of moving this as seen on up here.
Okay.
And then I would be curious to see what would happen if you guys had this a lot higher.
Okay.
Because right now, and I don't know if my computer shows differently than other people's computers. I'm sure it does, but well, I haven't said the word computer. My laptop, I haven't said computer in years. But I wonder if moving these buttons above the fold would help. And then moving this up would just be cool. I don't know. I'm a big fan of like some of these e-commerce pages. Like if you have cool things like this, put it up here. Give them the good stuff right away.
Okay.
You know what I just thought of? Do you remember they all laughed when I sat down at the piano?
Yeah, I know the exact copy you're thinking about.
Dude, I would just swipe that outright.
They all laugh when I sat down at the guitar when I started to play.
Yeah, why not? I guarantee you none of them have seen that ad.
That's true.
It's so old. I would just replace piano with guitar.
Okay.
That's something I would do. And I also wonder if this question can actually apply. No, because they're for kids. Never mind. I was going to say you can probably move some of this stuff on the main page. That's a cool little headline up top. Yeah, this is great. The one thing I wonder is, and I'm throwing a lot out, right? I realize none of my feedback is like, do this and only this. I'm just throwing a lot at you, right? I wonder if there's some benefit to having some of what you said in the video here as well, because the issue for me is I landed on this page and I went immediately to the words. And I wonder if some people are doing the same thing. So they're not even watching this. Say one more time.
So the reason for that is the page was originally tested with just the words, and then I kind of just made the video afterwards as an afterthought and stuck it on there as like a extra thing. But do you think that what's in the video is more interesting? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's more interesting, and I also think it's a little bit more, because the lead here is about you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you either have to make this about one of your students, or you run with a variation of this in text form as well as the video form. And the reason why is because this is really cool, because we're 10 seconds in and you're already talking about your students.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of inherent trust that that's building, that's like, whoa, this guy has plaques on a wall. That must mean he's the real deal. You know, this is the equivalent of some guru having a bookshelf behind him.
Okay.
So all you're missing is the Lambo. Huh?
You know what I'm most proud of, though?
The knowledge. Yeah, so get a red Ferrari, put it in the video. So those are all the things that I would sort of play with. I would test something that's almost identical within your own sort of moral, ethical swiping bounds of that old piano ad. I would test a lead, and literally all you have to say is like, that's how Tim felt about the guitar before he came to see me.
Okay, so swap it so that it's about the student. Makes sense.
And then you have to give me some sort of closure on him before I even want to hear about you, if you do decide to do that. So it'll be like, Tim thought he was hopeless. Like he was ready to smash his guitar against the wall. And then he took a chance and scheduled a call with me. Nowadays, 6 months later, he's playing gigs in full stadiums. Led Zeppelin recently contacted him, and then you basically be like, how'd that happen? Well, my name is Daryl. Or you can even be like, and Tim's not the only one. Testimonial, testimonial, testimonial. They just care about that a little bit more than you right now. And then if you, let me look at the kid one too.
So probably the video is more interesting on this too, because it's a similar story.
This is awesome. I wonder if this would be cool to test with just a video, no text, and they have to watch part of it before this pops up.
Ooh.
Like the same way you would treat an upsell, basically. Because these two compete for each other a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, here's 17 different things to test. Let me know.
Great. I can test them, because the thing is with what we do, it takes so long to get any decent data that it's fine to give me a bunch of things, and we'll just test them over time and do it. So that's good.
Other than that, yeah, awesome, man. I'm excited to see how this shapes up.
Thanks, man. That's really helpful. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everyone.
Of course. Sweet. All right, everyone. Well, this was an awesome call. Thanks so much for swinging by. Hopefully this is helpful. If anyone has any sort of follow-up questions or anything I can help them with in the meantime, before next Monday, feel free to message me on Facebook, or I think you can comment in the event thing, right? So feel free to leave a comment, question, whatever it is. And yeah, this is awesome. Thanks so much. I will see you guys next time.